I'm curious if you have ever experienced or worked with a student in one of your classes who has had the experience of constructing a backstory, either on the page or for your own use or whatever, for the protagonist or secondary character, and it becomes so compelling that it becomes a story
Mm.
on its own. Has that happened to you?
That's a really good question because that has not happened to me yet. But I have to admit, I've had a couple of experiences where I've thought, well, wait a minute, why am I telling this story starting now when what happened 10 years ago? That's really interesting. And each time I always go back to the mantra, serve the story, which sounds kind of woo woo, but this is the idea that found me and came to me. And this is the idea that I'm trying to manifest into the world as a story. So, to serve that purpose, what do I need to do? And so far, my answer has been, well, the backstory isn't what came to you. But I think that could be perfectly legitimate. I'm not opposed to the notion of, let's say I just have a shimmer of a glimmer of an idea and I start generating backstory for a character. And if it is like, oh, wait a minute, there's the story, I think you follow that. And that's one of the joys of pre writing. I get a little irritated when people talk about being a plotter versus a pantser because I think that is a too simplistic way to describe the process. We all end up doing all the same things ultimately. Now, if you're a plotter, maybe you're literally plotting it out scene by scene and you stick to that. And if you're a pantser, theoretically, you've got a little bit of an idea and you just start writing. Well, sooner or later, before you get something together that you would actually show another human, we're all going to sit down and figure out backstory and plot points and scenes. And if we do that as we're free writing our way forward or thinking more linearly ahead of time before we actually start writing scenes, that's fine. Whatever works.